All right, folks. We are live. We're just going to do a 1 minute countdown timer, and then we will start Campaign for America, Episode 3 with Dennis Andrew Ball. Welcome, everybody. We have Dennis Andrew Ball for Episode 3 of Campaign for America. And with that being said, I'm going to let you go ahead and begin your segment. Dennis, do you want to come on camera and unmute your mic for our viewers?
Yes. All right. Here we go. Thank you, Stephen. Can you hear me? Good.
Yes, I can.
Very good. All right. Well, appreciate the time delay here. I will be coming to Las Vegas to McCarran Airport to do a Campaign for America rally for Ball for All 2024, Ball Sanders 2024. Richard Sanders is my running mate, and we are here to make history. This has been a ongoing process to get here this long and this far, but we're here. We're not going anywhere, and we are going. In terms of the words from Stephen Phillips, we're going to finish this, and I believe that. And as it sits right now, I've been very busy this week with others. There's a lot going on. Tally Roskus in Minnesota. She's going to have her rally on the 18th inside the Capitol. She has me, Brian Lee, who was at the Missouri Capitol and DC rally for the Family Forward Project. Also on the itinerary, the list of speakers. And if I can't be there in person, I definitely intend to be there like we're talking right now. And I believe the 18th is on a Tuesday. And I think it's at 1 o'clock. It's scheduled. So it'll give us time to do this 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock and yours 2 o'clock Campaign for America afterward, which would be nice. Then we can report what happened at the rally and move it forward. I'm very, very encouraged by the events that are happening now with respect to this campaign. Why? Because as time goes on, we're looking at the airport rallies taking hold in the country, starting in Florida, starting possibly in Orlando or even Fort Lauderdale, then moving over to Leesburg, Florida, which is south of Ocala, Florida, Central Florida, and then over to St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Florida, and then over to Hillsborough County, which is Tampa, and from there onward to Texas, to Houston. Candace Schwager, some of you may know her name. She is an attorney. This woman has suffered for her faith, and she has suffered for others, including her own family. And I have sent her books, as well as our campaign assistant, Barbara Latham, who is also fighting illness, and we need to pray for her as well, both of these ladies. But I am encouraged that both of these ladies will be on the front burner of the campaign for America when it comes to Robbie Airport in Houston, Texas. When they open up the campaign rally, talk about what their concerns are, and then introduce me. And the remainder of October, I'm going to be busy north of Southern Illinois towards the St. Louis, Springfield area, dealing with my own issues, personal issues, and then moving the campaign forward. We have October's Halloween, then we have November's Thanksgiving, and then we have December's Christmas. So we have a holiday season coming up here, and it's very possible that this will not begin until after New Year's, sometime in January, because the area that I live in is going to be very cold. There could be snow on the ground, freezing. I don't want to be here for that. I want to be down in the warmer states. And then when spring comes, we will be flying in the northern states like Minnesota, Michigan. Our campaign manager for Michigan, Tabitha Finn, very fine person, has gone through the wars at Flint, Michigan with the water crisis they had there, plus her own daughter's problems. And just a real trooper to see that her family has the best chance to survive and thrive. Tell me this, Stephen, in your own case with your own mother, how do you find taking care of her as part of your own personal experience at this time in your life?
I feel like it's helped me to manage my time better. It's been definitely a learning curve, but I think ultimately it's helped me to better not only make sure that my mom's being cared for properly, because you can't trust these bastards in some of these care facilities, because the hospital and the care facility and the lawyer that we hired to represent her tried to collude and cover it up. So
Oh,
I
no.
mean, I would recommend anybody that has a family member that's in need like that, I would not rely on care facilities or hospitals. If you're a family member and you had or know somebody that's experiencing care, I would recommend becoming your family member's medical POA one. And so that at least that way, every decision that's made for them has to go through you first. Okay. And that's how you can make sure that they're held accountable and they don't do anything just without your consent. That'll help that. That's what I had to do. Just to make sure that she was getting the proper care, because I don't trust these bastards to do it, you know?
Well, you shouldn't. And because the condition of our society is so negative that we are now engaged in doing the work of the government. And
We're having to, because they're abusing their power, and the crazy thing is we're doing it better than they're better job than they are out of necessity.
definitely. And that's good. And that's good. And I think that people know there is a problem out here. What is necessary is to articulate the problem and to articulate what is the solution. As far as I am concerned, the family is the issue, the family is the issue, and the family is the issue. So we have to talk about business, labor, and government, in my world, supporting children, parents, and grandparents, the foundation of our culture and our world, on the basis of getting them secured, economic security. Right now, women from 50 to 64 are very concerned about their own economic security. That's a campaign issue. And how do we get that secure? Well, as far as I am concerned, you've heard me say it before, living wage jobs, industry coming back in the United States, skilled labor, wages and benefits. We need an economic summit. We need to bring all the people together. We need to communicate. Communication
Yes,
is
that's key.
really needed. Okay. Yep. Exactly. Just like you and I and Dottie were there at the table at Eris Pizza Parlor there in Jefferson City, Missouri for the Family Project Missouri rally. We communicated, and that's why you and I are talking right now, because we communicated very well.
Exactly.
And we have been communicating ever since.
Right.
And I think that's something from God, to be candid with you.
Well, I think, I think it's important to know, folks, we don't agree on every issue. Me and Dennis, we have differing opinions on certain things, and, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what the whole purpose of debate and discussion is for, so that we can still disagree on things, but the things that we can agree on, that we do agree on, are the things that we should be uniting together and focusing on it. And it's okay to disagree and have differing opinions. That's part of what makes our, the foundation of our country so unique. But what they've done is they made it so that we're all emotionally triggered, and so that we're not even willing to sit down and have these conversations because of that. And so
Mhm.
that the whole point of coming, you have to be able to sit down,
Well,
communicate,
yes,
regardless of your agreements or disagreements on any particular issue. No, nobody's going to agree 100% with anybody else on everything. Okay, everybody's got differing opinions, and that's okay. But the point is, as long as we come down, have the discussion, and come to a common consensus that we can all agree on, that's how we move forward, folks. That's how we come up with solutions for these problems, not by shutting each other out and censoring and silencing people, you know.
oh, for sure. And this is the reason why I'm here, is because I recognize that there are so many issues that need to be addressed. And I've done this through my book writing, and I have them available on Amazon.com. Let me just give you our vision for this party. We expect to have offices all over America, paid staff, selling my books through Amazon and through the AOA website. Um, the Campaign for America is America, and it is the values of the family. If you're not working for your family, who are you fighting for? If you're not fighting for your family, who are you working for? You could be working for yourself. You could be working for the government. Maybe you're working for the devil. I don't
You
know.
don't know. You wouldn't know, would
Right,
you? You don't know
right,
who you're fighting for. Then you could be fighting for
right.
anyone.
Exactly. You could be working for God. You could be working for kids. And of course, you could be working for money. But as we've said before, the Bible says that the love of money is the root of evil. Not that money is a problem, but the love of money is what corrupts.
Right.
And that's what's taken root in this country. I also believe power and control of the masses is part of this equation,
Oh, it definitely is.
with the elitist political parties, particularly the Democrat Party, but the Republicans are equally as guilty, from what you see with the Trump people, who really have taken over in that party. But many people have concerns of their own regarding Trump and
Yeah.
those who follow him. So
Well, see,
that's why.
I have a slight. I say I'm coming from the other side. I'm more concerned about the rhinos that are selling out. Because if you look at
Right.
their actions, see that I'm coming from it from the other side. It's like I see that going on too, and then like that's also a problem, like the corruption or the complicity within that part, within that aspect of that party as well. And I'm not either right or left. I'm technically independent, folks, but I mean, I go with how they act. Like I look at what their actions say, what they've done, not what they say. And but people need to be mindful. Trump's no, we should need Trump's, yeah, he's done a lot of good, but there's a lot of things that I don't agree with that he's done. I don't like the fact that he pushed the shot one. That's my opinion on that, but that's okay. But I really think, and I want to encourage people, look at the actions of these people versus the words, and do they match up? And that's how you see where they're really at, folks. And that could apply to
Definitely.
anybody.
I mean, definitely, Stephen, and you say it so well, as to how you feel. I'm sure you reflect the mood of many Americans, both male and female, and the policies and procedures that have uh, preceded them. We used to have a country that believed in the family, that believed in a living wage job, that you could survive and thrive on one income. Now it takes two and maybe more. That's a problem, because that's been created for the American people to have
Yes.
to deal with. I
Hmm.
think that, it's going
It
to come
was.
down to how much worse does it have to be before the people say enough. And I've written a book about that as well. What say you?
I love that idea. That's interesting. Yeah, enough is enough. You're right. That kind of echoes the sentiments that everybody in my team, and despite the on my side, and my team and I have been kind of telling, like I think on one of our shows not too long ago, we were like, what, we called it out. We said, what, enough. We're done. Every one of you complicit parties, we're coming for you. Know that. And it was like we did a whole episode where I kind of went off on a rant, and it was like I went off on like, enough is enough. We need to draw a line in the sand and fucking
Right.
stand our ground. And that's kind of
Well,
where we're at with it. That's why we kind of went in the action direction. So I'm in complete agreement with you on that.
when I
You know,
said enough, I've written a book about it titled Enough. And I believe the subtitle is Fighting Radical Chaos in America and Beyond, because enough goes into other countries like Russia and Ukraine right now. The number of people being killed, as you know, yesterday, that Russia launched 84 missiles in 12 cities across Ukraine's borders in the middle of the country, including Kiev, and
but
killed 11 people
there's a
and
bunch of
wounded.
there's a bunch of deaths going on from both sides. I mean, I'm questioning in my view from what I've seen. I question anything that the legacy media puts out about that. I mean, because from my view, if they lied about so much else, why are they all of a sudden going to tell the truth about that? And I think, regardless of what side you stand on that aisle, I think that more often than not, that's being used as a method to divide us. And I think we need to be mindful of that. And I want, even though me and him and Dennis disagree on that issue, we're still able to sit here and talk about it. And that's what makes what was the
Well,
beginning
I
of what
think
made
you're right.
America so great. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I mean, you and I agree really on probably good 95% of everything we talk about.
Yeah.
Because the family is the issue as far as I'm concerned. Nobody talks about it except this campaign. And until the people recognize that they have they have real skin in the game and they got to jump in and become the candidates to change the system from within, it will only stay the same or it will get worse.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
That's it.
great. Agreed. And we need to stop being apathetic, folks. Just because somebody disagrees with you, we need to stop letting ourselves become emotionally triggered so often. That's a lot of the time that makes is what causes us to go and not sit down and talk about these issues. We need to be mindful that a lot of these bastards that are doing this, that are guilty of this kind of corruption, whether it be the CPS, the mainstream, the media, whatever, they are, if you look at their intention, what are they doing? They're not trying to unify us. They're trying to scare us and divide us and keep us in fear. Why could that be? What could be their motive? What is their real intent? Well, one could suppose that they are trying to keep us divided so we don't see and come together and stand up and rise up and unite. And that's what they're afraid of, because they're so guilty and complicit in a lot of their own corruption. And so, that's why they're doing that, folks. And that's what we need to be mindful of. And we need to just pay attention to what you're letting in your space. Ask yourself, is it fear-based? Is it promoting hate or fear? And if it is, question its integrity and look into it. But don't let it guide your judgment in a fear-based mindset, because that's where you're going to go astray and become reactive as opposed to being able to be objective and critical. Does that make sense? But I wanted to put that out. I think that's important that we emphasize that.
Right. I want to ask you a question,
Yeah.
Stephen. Can you tell us what has been going on in your sphere there in Las Vegas or beyond that has caught your attention and is something that maybe some of us don't really are aware of and should be?
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. So I've been regarding the school boards and the corruption in the teachers unions out here, and like that issue. We've got a lot of corruption on our with our superintendent going on, and we've been covering that issue. But basically, this motherfucker, Jesus Jara, superintendent, basically bought his way back on for another 2 years, extended the contract. So now it's like if they do fire him for convenience, they'll still have to pay out $2 million for him as a result after that. So basically, we're stuck with this corrupt bastard until for another 2 years. People aren't happy. They've been silencing people at the school board meetings. They've been cutting people's feeds. They've been cutting people's audio. So me and my buddy have been covering it. We're gonna we're just made the decision to start streaming all the CCSD board meetings live every time there is one, and so that people have an opportunity to be heard. And we're opening up our platform for parents to be able to speak, because CCSD school boards are cutting people's mics and not giving them the opportunity to do so. So we're actually going to announce that when we go live this Thursday at that meeting. But we want to, I kind of want to put that out there ahead of time. If you're in the Las Vegas area and you're attending these meetings and you feel like your voice is being not heard, we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you have to say, what your concerns are, and we will air it live on our platform. And we won't cut your mic and we won't cut your feed. So I want to extend that olive branch to everybody that's checking and following our work on the school board issue. But that's what's going on with that. So we're fighting that still. We got there's an active lawsuit that's in play for this whole issue that's going on. So, but I don't want to say too much on that because it is active. But
Oh, good.
we're keeping people apprised on a weekly basis, pretty much, on that, because I go to pretty much every one that they have that we're able to.
Well, that's good. I mean, the family and the education system and the books that people are reading to their children in the libraries, all this is up for discussion
Yes,
because it impacts the minds of young people, especially kids
yes,
who really have not had a chance to
right. It's
become,
totally wrong for people to be
right,
pushing their ideologies on impressionable young minds like that when they haven't even had the chance to be able to
to be
understand
critical
or
about,
comprehend or
stuff.
make their own minds up,
Right. I agree with
on
that. And
anything.
exactly. And it's just this is fuel for everything to create discussion and communication in the population. And it's amazing when you hear the way people talk on the air, the radio programming, the communication there, I don't think is good. I listen to Hannity once in a while,
It could be
Mark
toxic, really.
Levine.
A lot of it, I noticed.
Yeah, exactly. And there are very few radio broadcasters outside of this program that I will want them to interview me, even though I have something very positive to say. The attitude of these broadcasters um, gets so slanted toward the rich and the populace who they deem as the people who they should be uh, getting our people to listen to. Okay,
Right.
and that's a problem for me.
Well,
I have been
I
very
can tell
active
you
the last.
right away why you're having that problem is because they sold out. That's what it is. They got bought out. They
It
got
is
paid off and they sold out. That's why they're acting like
right.
that. That's pretty obvious to me. Whenever I see that, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna fuck with you. Sorry. Later. I'm the same way as you are. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be silenced like that. Sorry. I'm just not gonna fuck with you at all. I don't blame you one bit, man. Because like it is going on. It's a rampant problem, folks. People need to realize that.
Right, exactly. And so let's tell you a little bit about my vision for the future. I expect to find an airplane at one of these airport rallies, maybe two airplanes, maybe a 740 be decked out in our logos and our paint schemes. There's a company down in Louisiana who does this. I've talked to them. I need to find the airplane. Anybody out there listening to us who has an airplane or knows of someone who has an airplane that would donate the plane, at least to use the plane for a period of time, that would be very appreciative.
Yeah.
I want you to know this. I do play the lotteries. They're over 400 million each on Powerball and Mega Millions. Tonight will be Mega Millions. Nobody won the Powerball last night. It's over 400 million today. Tomorrow night will be another draw. And that would be together, the two together is almost $1 billion.
Oh wow.
So, I am praying for these funds. We have not asked for funds up until when we go out into the airports. The other thing is the permits, the event permits. I'm busy with the airport administrators figuring out what they require. I'm sure there'll be insurance required as well, and the staging areas in
What
terms of.
about your as far as like I know that permits, I know that for most like events and stuff you have contacts for like your pass your media passes and stuff. What is that looking like on that front? What because I know that the airports probably have a contact for that. So are we working on that front as well? That's what I want to
Well,
know.
I'm sure that will be part of it, because when it comes down to the press corps, that's usually created by a press secretary, and we have one. His name is Dave Smith, and he's very engaged with the airport people as well as the media people. He's actually my chief of
Okay.
staff,
Cool, cool.
and we are proceeding to get that enforced. In other words, in a structural form, so that when we give the press release, he gives the press release to the radio, TV, newspaper people. He makes personal phone calls into the stations and expounds on what's going on here and why this is happening the way it is. The good news is this: we've been at this for some time. Okay, the last programming that was in 2020 for the 2020 presidential election, we were there. We were in Florida, and we were busy with 5 different opportunities that we took advantage of in October, which was, what is this? Okay, 2 years ago. And it was because COVID had been relenting. In other words, it was dying down a lot, so that the media would not be so focused on it, to allow us to be able to come in and have me interviewed by different stations out of Tallahassee. I believe his last name was Lindor, Mike Lindor. He did a story on third-party candidates.
Okay.
And he included me, and he interviewed me. He showed our logos and the graphics. I am a write-in candidate at this point.
So
however,
I remember when we first started working with you and having you on our show and stuff. I remember I was looking up some previous, like, some other stuff about you, like see who had interviewed you before, and I came across one of those articles from, I think it was 2016, when you were doing that then, and they were talking. Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. You're definitely, obviously, very passionate about the cause, and and I respect and admire that. Like, somebody needs to have that, hold that space, I do think, for the family, and I agree with you 100% on where you're coming from there.
Well, see, I've been personally impacted by this corruption. My parents' estate was worth $1 million. It went down in 22 months. I preserved it for over 10 years until these bastards got a hold of it through my sister's, well, I call her my father's daughter. I don't claim her as my sister, but she was the one responsible for contacting the lawyers and everybody like that. I lost money personally out of this that I need to reclaim. I have filed 15 liens against the parties. They never expected I would come back through the courts and become a prosecutor, which I am because of the bankruptcy court.
Okay.
I filed my mother's estate in bankruptcy, which the court took, which was,
would you like to tell,
quite interesting.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, finish your thought. But I want you to kind of like give our viewers just a brief overview of why you're fighting this fight, as far as what happened to your mother and how that inspired you to do the work you're doing now.
Right.
Because I think it's important people understand where you're coming from too. Because what happened to my mother is a big part of why I'm fighting this fight too.
Right. I hear you. I've written a book about it called Tyranny from the Bench: Fighting and Surviving America's Judicial Nightmare. And it's on Amazon. People can go to it. People can file liens on people who have hurt them. People can foreclose on these liens. People can get justice and compensation from the system. I'm not saying so much on the courts, but
will
the
that
system.
help our viewers to get in, like, just from your own experience and what you went through with doing that? It'll give them some insight on how they can do that for themselves just from reading that.
Definitely.
Oh, okay, cool.
Definitely. I'm a court official.
That's useful to have that information.
Yes. Yes, I'm the only one I know of who has gone the distance and created an opportunity for people to learn how to fight and how to win. Okay. And that's what this is about, as far as I'm concerned. And that's what we're here for. So we're here to fight, and we're here to win.
So you're basically giving some of the tools to people that they can use themselves in their books, basically. Then.
Definitely.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, you bet. This is education. I want the people to get educated in the facts of how to fight and win, and go become candidates on the local, state, and federal level. No, I ran for mayor in Marion, Illinois.
I love how. See, that's what I'm glad you said. You specified, because some people may not know that. that's what's in your books. Like there could, because this is from his own life experience, folks. What he's experienced, and there may be something in there that may be
Definitely.
helpful or insightful for what you're going through. You never know until you try, until you look. But that's good about your books is
Right.
very easy. They're easy reads. They're straight to the point. They're very down to earth in layman's terms. Most people can understand what you're talking about, and he's put it in a very easy to read format. It's not like a really long book. Everything's really it's not too heavy. It's perfect for the layman person, folks.
It's for the people. I made it that way by design so that we can educate our people to become aware of how important it is to be involved in local, state, and federal government to preserve, protect, and defend our rights, our financial liquidity, our ability to make a living, and our ability to raise a family. And you cannot do it on minimum wage. It has to be a living wage. Thank you. So as it relates to all of the issues that we deal with, I've written 38 books about them, including 10 holy books, because I do believe that God is in this. He led me to this, and we are making history from this. And praise God, we will get the victory in the end. Praise God.
Well said. Well said. Yeah. So do you want? Yeah, I want to show our viewers real quick before we. I think before we wrap the time. How long we've been on for? A good 30 minutes at least, maybe longer. I think we had a good segment.
You
Yeah,
bet.
we're about. I don't know. It's not showing me. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we're about 30 minutes, and we can do a few more minutes, like another 10 if you'd like. I got
Oh, you
time.
bet. You
Yeah,
bet.
and then we'll wrap it up with your book, your outro sequence we made for your bookstore.
That's great. Folks, go to the AOA-ANC.org website. Check it out. We have the airplane there, all aboard. We are looking to make history as we continue to make history. We are making people aware that there is something here for them, and that's a fact. And my deepest appreciation to Stephen Phillips and Angela and Dottie, meeting them at the Eris Pizza Parlor across the street from the Capitol in Jefferson City, Missouri, on the Family Forward Missouri rally was very monumental to me. I'm still vibrating from everything we talked about, and it just shows when your heart is right with everything and God, things happen, and this is why we're talking, because things are happening,
Right.
and that's really amazing.
Yeah, no, it truly is, and it's like I almost see it like, there's a reason everything happens for a reason. It's like, now we don't agree on everything, nobody's gonna agree on everything, but that's okay. We're helping each other, giving each other the opportunity to get both our messages out there by networking like this, folks. That's the beauty of the internet. We're doing this all grassroots style. We're not really doing any of this we're not paying for ads or reach or any of that. We're all doing it all organic because we are grassroots. But that's the
Right,
beauty of it.
organic.
This is a perfect example of, by going in and putting in the actual work, by going somewhere physically and going to these kinds of events, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know how you might benefit from that, And so, like, if we
Exactly.
hadn't gone, we would have never met, and we would not be having you on our show.
Right,
And
exactly.
so like, my point being is that we can help each other. Everybody that's trying to get their message out, and that, we can help each other by networking like we're doing, and increase our reach,
Exactly.
increase our message getting out, all by collectively collaborating together.
Exactly. And I believe God wants us to prosper. He has a formula to do that. I talk about some of this in my writings. And the thing is, this weekend, I've sent out copies of Don't Stop Believing, the Power of Prayer for You, to our Texas contingent, Candace Schwager and Barbara Latham. They recognize that the Bible is one thing, and knowing God is a totally different thing. And that's what's missing in America today, knowing God. If people know God, their lives change, period. And how do we know God? We know God by asking him, what is it that we want him to do to us or with us. And I believe this, I'll be candid with you. Even if a person doesn't understand or know about Christ, his mission, and what he was here for, if they ask God what it is that he wants them to do, he will lead them to his son. That's what I believe.
So
And
basically,
once that happens, things change.
Can I break it down into more layman's terms for those viewers who may not be so religious? Basically, what he's saying, I'd like to, because this is a good true moral direction he's getting at, because there's real insight here if you know how to interpret it. Basically, what he's saying is, if you open your heart to more to the right thing and doing the right thing, if you open your heart to that, you will see the universe give you the signs that you need to follow the direction you need to go. And me and Dottie kind of are doing the same thing. It may not be because we're spiritual. We may not be as religious as some folks, but that's okay. But it's all the same thing. It's the signs that we're seeing that are leading us on this fight. They're the same. They're coming from the same thing. What you would call God, what someone would call source. It doesn't matter your beliefs. The fact is, it's leading us all towards this fight, regardless of our walk of life or our belief system, because it's all the same thing, folks. We're all in this together.
I just want to say that Jesus said to Nicodemus, God is a spirit. How about that? He is a spirit. Now, I don't understand it. I can't tell you what
anybody does. Don't think anybody does, my friend.
But here a man is telling another man who God is. So as it relates to Christ knowing that fact, that means Christ communicates with his Father, because his Father was God. Okay,
he's in touch with source, or was in touch with source, basically.
Well, yeah, he and see, that's the theme of this book. Don't Stop Believing: The Power of Prayer for You, is that communication with God is what he wants. If we communicate with him, he will show us what to do. He's done it for me. That's why I'm here. Otherwise, I was going to go to the Bahamas and retire at Port Lacaya on a boat and be with the tourists. But the thing is, I was impacted personally after 12 years of caring for my own mother, like you are, and then getting the shaft because of corruption in the system. But the thing is, they never expected that I would be coming back at them with the power of the court itself. And that has to do with the bankruptcy court. And I'm recognized as a trustee, which I have to tell you, Stephen, that when I was in college, after college, I went to law school for 6 months. And when I started reading text law in textbook of the law books, I started reading about bankers taking advantage of little old ladies for their money and property. I was 22 years old. My parents were successful Depression children business persons after World War II. My father was a grocer. My mother worked in top secret projects, both in Illinois and out in San Diego with the Naval Electronics Lab. This is where the Navy is, the military. And my parents met in Los Angeles. This was 1950. And I was born in 1951. I don't think it was a shotgun wedding because I did get married there in Las Vegas, incidentally. But
really?
Yeah. But
where did they? The little white chapel didn't happen to be around at that time, was it?
I don't think it was at Elvis's chapel, but I do think it was one of them. She had a beautiful white dress on. She was a beautiful woman. She's in my book, The Champ. Both of my parents are.
Well, the reason I mentioned that is because my parents were married at the Little White Chapel, and I was planning on getting married there myself, but apparently during COVID that place went out of business and shut down, and I was really pissed about that.
That's cute. Yes. Listen, I'm looking forward to McCarran Airport, the Campaign for America on the airport tarmac or some area where they will allow us to have
our event,
a campaign rally with speakers, backdrop, staging, podium, and microphone. And we will make history because the newspaper there, the Las Vegas Journal Review, and the Carson City newspapers and the radio people and the TV people, maybe even George Knapp might show up.
You know, it's funny because you should mention that because, like, I actually, when I was doing some roots work a few years back for Solutions Institute, I was on their team of experts to help people get the tools they need to fight back. And believe it or not, George Knapp was on that panel too. But it wasn't a video; it was more like we were on a list of people that had, we were all part of it. It was a grassroots organization. But yeah, no, I
Was
mean,
Bob Lazar there too?
uh, no, it wasn't that. No, it was not. No, it wasn't Bob Lazar. No, he was not there. But no, it was not Nap. It was actually no. I misspoke. It was not Nap. It was no. I think he might have been on that one too. But it was actually the other guy that hosted Coast to Coast for a time. John B.
George
Wells. John B. Wells. That's who it was.
Oh.
But I know that Nap was also, yeah. So I mean, that's a local. I've always followed his stuff. He's very one of the few reporters left to true.
There are so many people in this as UFO stuff.
But he's really, really, like did the hard work for a lot of this people that love the UFO issue to really. He did some real honest to God, real hard journalism, and I got so much respect for that work that he did because he really helped bring it into the forefront and made it a legitimate, credible issue because of how serious he took it and reported on it. And hey, George Knapp, if you're listening, thank you for that. You've been an inspiration to people like me and many others.
Friedman and J. Allen Hynek are the two that I think are the standard boilerplate of the UFO investigations. Stanford, he interviewed, believe this, he interviewed over 800 witnesses of the Roswell crash, and there were 2 crashes, and he was able 35 years after the crashes to hunt these people down after he talked to Jesse Marcel, who was the intelligence officer at the 509 bombardier group that was handling nuclear weapons, the only one in the world at that time, 1947. But after he interviewed him in 1978, who he found down in Louisiana, believe it or not. That's where Marcel, I guess, grew up, and he retired there. And it's if you ever have a chance to listen to Stanton Friedman on his experience with the Roswell crash, he's
I've heard that. I think I've watched what you're talking about. I've seen pretty much almost all the stuff that you've seen, because I know that we're like, every time we talk about something in the UFO field, I'm like, oh yeah, I know that. I think there's very little that we both aren't like already know about, like on the same page with. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But check it out, viewer. I want our viewers to look it up because there's some good insight.
Please do, because between him and J. Allen Hynek, there's a lot there. Project Blue Book. You can watch it on Peacock or even YouTube. I'm waiting for the History Channel or some other ones to pick up season 3 because it ends where I believe his name was Captain Quinn. I believe he was captured by the UFO people on the submersibles, and they don't hear from him again. But Hynek is out looking for him and had been able to, I guess, use coordinates and things of this nature, made discoveries, drove his wife nuts. And it ends, the episode 12 ends where he's on a boat, and this guy, Men in Black, the gentleman who was instrumental in kind of guiding and leading Hynek with these discoveries, ends up talking to him on a boat right very close to the Antarctica, where the Nazis, according to some, had flying saucers of their own and were partners with the UFO people. It's quite a fascinating story, to be candid with you. So, well, listen, I'm very pleased that we had this chance to talk tonight, and I hope that this will get out very soon, and we will make a lot of noise in the communications of the country, and people will start recognizing we are definitely on the right track.
Tabitha from Michigan says hi. She's watching.
Oh, great! Hi, Tabitha.
You know, it's funny. You're watching out of Flint, Tabitha. Oh my God, my mother was born in Flint. Believe it or not. Small world.
Well, there you go. Definitely. I'm looking forward to be there next spring. We'll do a campaign rally there at the airport in Flint, Michigan. And
Well, that would be
yeah,
awesome. When you do that, let me know. I want to be there. I want to fly out there and be there because my family, I got family on the East Coast out in Michigan. My mom was born in Flint, so like that would be a great way to kind of throw kind of be like a nod to my family and my I'd have to show up to that.
definitely.
So if you do that at the Flint Airport, I will definitely be there and help cover that.
All right. Well, write it down, Tabitha. Make contact with the airport administration for a event permit. We need the event permit. And if you have any questions, please call me.
Sounds good. Oh, yeah. So yeah, definitely Tabitha. That would be great. I would love for that to happen because that would be awesome. Because then I could even invite my family on the East Coast in Michigan also to help attend and have them there, dude. That would be great. That would be
You
awesome.
bet. Well,
Wow.
we're making history here.
And I have a huge extended family. My one of my aunt and uncles they were foster parents for many years. They were well over 30 years. Like, so I got a big, huge extended family. So, I mean, if I get everybody to come, there's going to be probably a good 60, 70 people.
I'm thinking 700.
Well, no, I'm thinking just from my extended family alone, just all my cousins,
good.
that they've raised over the years. Like, just from that angle alone, it's like 70 people at least.
Wow. Well, that's what this campaign's about: supporting and providing the necessary elements to keep our children in safe hands and move our people for productivity and strong ties. Yes.
I want to give a shout out since we got Tabitha watching from Flint. I want to give a shout out to my family members, Uncle David and Aunt Barbara, and Uncle Doug and Aunt Denise, and my cousin Dustin, my cousin Diana, and all my other cousins it's too many to name, but Jamie Lynn, a few others, but there's quite a few. God damn, I have so many cousins, I can't even remember all their names. Yeah, my cousin Carrie, that's one of them, many, many others. But anyway, so I just want to give a shout out to them, to my family in Michigan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tabitha, for jumping on and putting that. I had no idea you were, that I had, somebody in Flint. I knew you said Michigan, you had somebody out in Michigan helping with that. And I was like, but Flint, cool, nice. I think it'd be great if
she could come on the show here.
Yeah, that would be great. Maybe we can get her on.
She'd have a lot to tell people.
Yeah, maybe we can invite her on next week. What do you think about that, Tabitha? I think that'd be great if you're able.
Right.
Perfect. Sounds good. So shall we wrap it up and play your bookstore outro?
You bet.
Then call it a wrap. And what do you want to give our viewers just briefly what you plan on talking about next week? What's going to be going on next week, or do we know yet?
I really don't know. To be kind of with you, it's a day by weekly thing with me, with God. That's the way I live my life, and so it's more exciting that way anyway.
It is, though, when you don't know what's going to happen next. I find that's what makes it fun, because like it's boring to always know how things are going to play out too sometimes.
That's true.
All right, cool. Awesome. Well, then you heard him, folks. Just stay tuned. Every Tuesday, he's going to be on here on 2:00 p.m. Pacific Standard, 4 p.m. Central, and 5 p.m. Eastern time. Don't miss it. Where we talk politics, corruption, and a bunch of other different issues that are important and relevant in this day and age. And we look forward to having you on next week. And thank you for having Amber on last week. I think that was a good person to have on, and because she's your Florida campaign manager, correct?
She's the assistant to Pam Sullivan. Pam is our Florida campaign manager. I expect Pam to be at all our rallies throughout the state and introducing possibly Amber or someone else. We have another girl, Faith Darren. She's in Fort Lauderdale, Broward County. But eventually what will happen is after the intros, then they'll introduce me. And then it's on.
Sounds good.
And believe me, it's on.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So let's play your outro. Thank you for all of viewers for jumping on and participating. I'm really encouraged by the interaction. We have like at 1.5 or 6 live viewers, and we had live viewers all throughout the segment so far. So that's great. That's always good to see. And have
Right.
the comments and feedback. That's always a plus. And I suspect numbers are probably higher because we know they're shadow banning the shit out of us. Facebook at least. But anyway,
You
so
bet.
all right, folks. Thank you everybody for watching and participating. We really appreciate the interaction with our viewers. So let's play our outro and then we'll call it a wrap. Thank you, everybody. There we go.